So I pin right sides together, and this is the bottom. I like to pin from the bottom up, and when I'm sewing, I'm going to sew on the curvy side, this side, so it's easier to maneuver. So this is the front pieces pinned together. So you're gonna sew your 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, whatever seam allowance. I left this part unpinned so it's easier to maneuver when I'm sewing, so I just cut around. So that's what it will look like. That's the front, and that's the other side. Alright, so what I'm doing here, I'm just giving the facing a nice little press, and then I'm going to press the interfacing onto the wrong side of it. So use interfacing for stability. So all you're going to do is press and hold for like 5 seconds. Lift, press and hold. So I gone ahead and overlock the facing, and I've also pressed all my seams flat. So as you go along, remember to press everything. So you sew something together, press it. So now we have the front of the jacket. We are going to attach the facing. So and we're going to pin, and we're going to sew all the way up just this side. So we're going to sew all the way here, and that's it. Next thing is to clip notches in the area which was sewn, and then we can move on. So this is the front of the jacket, and this is the facing that I just attached. We're going to do some stay stitching. So let me open it up, but it's going to be done in 2 parts. So this raw edge will be stitched from where you have the button. It will be stitched onto the facing itself. So I'm going to stay stitch just down to the facing wherever the button will start, and then this top part of this raw edge will be stitched down to the jacket. So again, this part will be stitched down on the facing, and this section, so I might have a slit there, will be stitched down to the jacket. And this helps so when you break your jacket over, remember when you have on your jacket. Alright, this is the right side, and this is the facing underneath. When you break your jacket, it's the facing that will be shown, so therefore the stay stitch will have to be on the underside, so on the jacket. So off camera I had sewn the shoulders together. So this is the back, and this is the front right here, but the lapel facing sticking out. So we're going to attach the collar. I'm going to try and explain that as best as I know how to. So we're going to attach the collar to the right side. Alright, so we have the right side facing up. My collar is sewn and it's turned on the right side. Another key thing to note is that the pelon side should be facing the fabric. So it should be on top of the right side. So we're going to pin from the center back all the way around to the front. I'm going to pin one side and then show you. So this is the center back all the way pinned to the front. Remember, I'm pinning it to the right side. Alright, this is the facing of the lapel. I'm going to bring the lapel part over and I'm going to pin it down so that this part here should reach to the shoulder seam right there. Alright, so I pretty much just, this is the edge, fold back the lapel and pin it down. Now the end, as I said before, should reach right where the shoulder seam is at. Alright, now that I have my collar attached, the next thing we're going to do is going to make 2 snips about 1/2 inch. So remember, this part is exactly over the shoulder seam. So we're going to snip into the collar, so both pieces of the collar. We're going to snip right into it. So about 1/2 inch right there. And another 1/2 inch snip right there. Just in my mistake, you're going to snip into the top layer of the collar only, so it's one layer snip into. So this is my snip, and when I was sewing, you can see my stitch line here. I simply lift up the top layer that I snipped into and attach the second layer of the collar to the shirt itself. So that's my top layer of my collar, all free, and then these two are joined together. So I sew from here, lift it up, continue sewing, and then continue there. Now the next thing to do is the last part now, is just to snip into these 2 layers. So do not cut the, let me zoom in, do not cut the thread, which is sewing these 2 layers together. So these 2 layers are sewn together. So you're going to just snip into both layers now. Right on my collar inside so I can see that everything is okay. Now this is the facing, so it's covering all this raw edge right here. So now you need to, as I said before, snip into the bottom 2 layers. So now when you snip into the bottom 2 layers, you can simply just push it up, all the way up, and then we're going to fold. That's why we snip here. Fold this down and pin, so that all that raw edge now is covered. So we snip into it, push it up. You can press it if you want so it's pushed up. Using one hand, fold it down, and then you can simply stitch on top if you want to with your machine, or you can do a blind stitch to close this, but I normally just stitch with my machine. So we're going to be doing a satin sleeve. So this is my arm, this is my sleeve. I'm going to put right sides together. This is my right side. Pin at the shoulder and pin all the way down to the end. So this is what the sleeve should look like when it's all sewn in. I've went ahead and serged the edge. So what you're going to do next is just to pin together. So just align the sleeves right sides together, and you're going to pin and sew along here, ensuring that the underarm sleeve is perfectly matched, and it should look something like this. So this side is all sewn up. So all I have left to do is to hem the bottom and the sleeve and put on the buttonhole. I've gone ahead and give this a nice stitch all the way around to the collar to add a detail. Next thing you do is just simply take a pencil and draw the line for the buttons, then you zigzag with a really small zigzag stitch around that area.